This month, from 16th to 13th or 14th of January, what is the significance of this month? There are practices in the yogic system which has transmitted itself into culture in many different ways. This is a time when men will do what women are supposed to do, and women will do what men are supposed to do. In the sense, in Tamil Nadu there's a culture that this is a time when men will go on Nagara Sankirtan. That means men will practice devotion, they will sing. Singing and devotion is largely considered feminine, so men will practice this. Women will practice making geometrical figures. Geometry and masculinity are very directly connected. If a woman sees something, let's not say woman, if feminine sees something, it will always pay maximum significance to the color and form of that. If the masculine sees something, it always sees the geometry first and then the color and the form. So this month, women practice geometry, not on paper, but in front of their homes. Through the Margazhi month, every woman is supposed to draw geometrical figures. Of course, today you have templates, they're no good. You must practice geometry because shifting from color and form to geometrical shapes and forms, this is a simple transformation of a certain science into a cultural dimension. Because of the closeness to the sun, because of a general pull downward, Mooladhara becomes the most dominant. Because Mooladhara becomes most dominant, the preservative nature of life becomes dominant in the body. In the yogic system, we would say, when the preservation is dominant, this is not a time to grow. All life in the northern hemisphere is at its minimum right now. The growth of the tree, the plant, and if you plant a seed, you can see this. The growth will be slowest at this time, not only because of the temperature, because of a general pull downwards. Because the growth will be because the growth will be held back because of a certain inertia in the life force. This is the time the body can recoup itself. This is the time body can preserve itself well. The inertia caused in all aspects of life because of the closeness of the sun and being on the wrong side, everything being pulled down, seed will not sprout very well. Recognizing this, Margazhi, the month of Margazhi, there never are any marriages in Tamil Nadu. Still, it is being maintained because this is not a time for conception. Even those who are in the life of householders, even a grihastha practices brahmacharya for this period generally. It is based on this, you see people are going to the hills, 40 days of brahmacharya before they go there because this is not a time for conception, because the seed will not sprout as well as it would another time. The system of yoga is seeing how to make this life function at its highest. People think highest means, will I be the most successful person on the planet? Will I run 100 meters in so many seconds? Better does not mean that. Better simply means, as a piece of life, it is better. There is no context to speak about this dimension in normal parlance or in English language particularly. There is no way to say it because life is all same. Yes, life is all same, but it can function better. If you allow it, it will function better. If you do not allow it, it will not function as well. You know definitely you know about the story of Bhishma waiting to cross this Dakshinayana to Uttarayana before he left his body, because he wants to be out of this pull to the south. South is called… down is called south. So if it is pulling down, the Mooladhara will be strongest, the preservative aspect will be strongest. He does not want to leave at that time. He wants the sun to move away to a place where there is an upward pull to his body. There is an upward pull to his being so that he can ascend in a proper way. The Margazhi is significant for a spiritual seeker because it brings a natural sense of stability into the system. particularly those who are suffering from any kind of ailments, particularly psychological imbalances, this is a good time to balance because the sun's energy and the sun's gravity is pulling downward, one can stabilize themselves. Stability before the upward pull happens is most important. If you're pulled upward and you're not stable within yourself, it will lead to imbalances. So, this is called a Sadhanapada and this is the peak of sadhana. That if you do the necessary sadhana at this time, generally, traditionally, people don't want to miss the Brahma Muhurtam in this month, that is at 3:40, they're all up. And there are various processes to keep in touch with water. There are many systems and many cultural practices and yogic practices to keep in touch with water because water is the largest element within you and water is one thing that could slosh. If your waters are not proper, it will cause imbalance in the system. In the yogic system, if there is a psychological imbalance, it is always seen as water element going out of control. Because if you have a tank full of water and shake it, it will slosh. If you have a tank full of sand or mud, it will not slosh the same way. So, the water element is what causes various levels of imbalance in a person if the right kind of things are not done with it. So, traditionally, there are various practices to be in touch with water. One of the simplest thing is, people always went into temple ponds at 3:40 in the morning to take a dip. It would be good. We should keep our tirthakund open early. This month, from 16th to 13th or 14th of January, we must keep it open very early. Those who want to make use of it can make use of it.